Today we're going to be experimenting with soft clay, air dry clay. This is Diaso clay, and everything on the table that you see was under $5 to buy. And for playability, there's actually a ton because Diaso clay comes in a lot bigger size than the air dry clay you buy from China. I got a couple little packages. Today we're going to do a craft. I got this. It's not slow rising. It's squishy this way and soft, but not this way. And I think you can hear the air coming out of it, out of the bottom. But that is for a pack of squishes that I have to give away to the kids who run my channel or take over my channel for when they help me with a certain video I'm doing. Now, I got my first package ever from Japan. This is Japanese. What I want to know is, why did I not discover this earlier? I keep buying stuff from China. This package is so much bigger. It's a lot heavier than the ones from China. This I got $1.50, which is half the price. It was $1. Buy it now. And it's great. I mean, it's so much bigger than the ones you get from China. This is not resealable. So I am going to have to put this in a Ziploc bag because I do not want this going bad. But it's softer than the air dry clay from China because the China version, by the time it gets to you, is all dried out. Not completely, you can still mold it, but it's a lot drier. This is softer, cheaper, and you get more. For $1 in China, you get about this much. So, and even for the $3 to $5, the normal price, when you're not getting it on auction, is still better. Now, I did get this from China. The shipping wasn't that bad. It was $2.50. This was $2.50. This was $1.50. This was $1.01. So I did fairly well on everything. This is $5.50 if you get it from America. And usually that saves you about 3 weeks. But this only took about a week and a half to 2 weeks. I bought it right, like a few days after I bought this. And they came within a few days of each other. So this shipping was not bad on this item. Well, I've never actually had the Diaso. It's so soft, and this is what people use for, well, you can use it for molds and stuff, but a lot of people make, is it cloud slime? I think it's cloud slime. And I can see how this would make your slime fluffy like a cloud. And I think a little tiny bit goes a long way. Let's see if we can make any of these items, but then we will have to leave them to dry. I bought black and brown. Brown is not here yet. I bought white of the regular air dry clay you get from China. That's going to take a long time to get here. So I think I'm going to get the Japan one. I actually wish you could, like, search country of origin in eBay, because I would get more stuff from Japan. Okay. It is not coming out of these molds very well. I knew that could be an issue. These molds are very tiny. Oh no. It's better for molding around things, I think, than actually molding something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up everything in this mold. Fill up all these little things. And then, I'm going to let this dry for a few hours or maybe a day and see if that will help. And if I can actually make the adorable little things I have. Of air dry clay and then if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to try other mediums, which I do have some stuff. Don't want to have to use resin because that I would have to buy. It is non-staining. It is messy though. They want me to wait days. I'm so impatient. After waiting a few hours, you can take the air dry clay ones out and let them finish drying on a plate, but try not to touch them so that they will not be smudged or dented. You can cut these out using a scissor like they suggested or an X-Acto knife. I did put the butter slime in the mold to see how that would go, and that was fine, except it takes a lot more drying time, but it is still okay, but you have to wait at least 24 hours, and it still might not be dry if you take them out. Now, it's a little more rubbery, but it's also smoother, but it is harder to cut out because it's rubbery and harder. I've taken these out, I've cut them, I've used my X-Acto knife, I've used scissors. They suggest scissors, but I think that is more for bigger items. When you use the slime like I did on some of them, it is darker and it takes much longer to dry because of the glue. And if you can get it out like half when it's not completely dry and partially dry, and you can let it get enough aeration, then it dries very well. Now, the pros to that is that it's less fibrous when you cut around it. I cut around this one. It's very fibrous. Both came out very well. This is much lighter, and this is the one with the glue in it. The cons is that it's harder to cut with the X-Acto knife and with the scissors because it's just tougher because of the dried glue. Now, I have not ordered my extra paint yet, so I'm just going to be using nail polish today. These had a full 24 hours almost to dry. They are completely dry. I think you only have to wait a few days if you're doing bigger projects, since these projects were relatively small. It did not take that long. I will be getting more in. I bought this for only $1. Now this half a reef will be lovely for a necklace. And let's see how the bee paints. The bee, of course, I said this before, I think, is the best one. The bee is absolutely the best one. It comes out the best. Everything cuts out the best. And there are more mediums, and once I research all the mediums I can use, oh, that looks great. I actually really like that one. But I'm going to look up, and if you know other things to use with silicone molds, I was thinking of plaster of Paris, but then I thought it's going to be the same as air dry clay because it's very paper-like. And this also dried smaller, and that is the one that I used the slime on. And I think maybe you could just paint what you're going to cut out, and then it will be easier to see what you're cutting. Because with all this clay being the same color, it is hard to see where you're cutting. That looks really good. This is everything you need for the craft, and it's fairly easy, and you probably have some of these things, the scissors, maybe the X-Acto knife, and then a few extra dollars, you can make this craft at home.